What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. Yes, I have the bandana instead of the hat on today. It's too hot for a hat. Guess what? We've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about whether or not Mitch Mcconnell got attacked by an alien weapon. We're going to talk about whether or not he was attacked by another country, by a psyop, and we're going to talk about much, much more. Now, we've got Mr. Alien here. He is in all different colors. He is in the house. We've got our whole cast of characters from the Red Cardinal to Frankenstein to the alien jellyfish, Beetlejuice, and the predator-like alien up on the top. We've got the whole cast of characters with Alien Kitty. Yes, we've got Mr. Zen Bigfoot, always keeping us in a meditational state of mind. And then we've also got the alien dog right here. Rough. Now, I hope you guys are doing well because we're going to get into it. It's going to be fun. So, what's going on with Mitch McConnell? Second time he's frozen up on stage for no reason. Makes me think that this is possibly due to an alien weapon being utilized on some of our very high-up senators and high-ranking officials. This is not the first time that something like this has happened, and we'll get into that in just a second. So let's cover what's going on with Mitch real quick. Now, Mitch is one of the highest-ranking officials, right, that we have. He's a majority leader in the Senate. He is the, majority leader, right? Minority leader, whatever. Minority leader. He bops up and down, he's majority, minority. Anyway, so he did have a concussion in March, came back to the Senate in April, then froze up in July, at the stage for 31 seconds. So we're gonna pull up an article about that right now and talk a little bit about what happened. Now, there's a conspiracy theory going on. This is not just me coming up with some random, crazy, lockdown universe stuff. That's why I'm bringing this up, actually. There is a conspiracy theory out there where there's a lot of people that believe that Mitch just happens to be part of this conspiracy. That this lady in green apparently touched him right before he went on stage. So we're gonna get into that. So what happened with her? Well, I'll tell you what happened with her. She touched him, and he immediately started freezing up. Why? That's my question. What happened? Well, let's get into it. So, according to sportskeeda.com, there is a conspiracy theory going on around on the internet. If you watch the video of what happened to him in July, there was a woman wearing a green outfit who touched his hand gently just before he froze. Conspiracy theorists have since taken to social media and speculated about her actions. Many responding to the same. They state that, this is really creepy. Mitch was scheduled to take part in a press conference this Wednesday to talk about cooperation between the two parties when it came to funding the defense. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because we're talking about defense measures. Who's worried about defense? The aliens. So, if that's the case, who better than to throw down some sort of conspiracy or some sort of, weapon on him when he's giving this speech, right? They're the ones that can control it. They're the ones that have weaponry. But they're not the only ones. We have directed energy weapons as well. Many people believe that there is a conspiracy theory that it was used on Hawaii to create all those fires. Many people believe that we have DARPA HARP technology created by DARPA, the Defense Department, as well, to direct energy weapon different countries. They believe that there was earthquakes that occurred due to these weapons, and one of the most recent whistleblowers with Stephen Greer's disclosure project stated that they have the most powerful directed energy weapon in Antarctica. That they have these huge balls, like basketballs, that are placed around the base down there, and that they not only collect information on neutrons, but they can also direct energy anywhere they want in the world. So, why are we bringing this up? Because Mitch, while he might be the minority leader right now, he's been the majority leader plenty of times, and he is one of the guys that makes up tons of decisions for the government. I mean, you could say that he's like, in the top what? Top 4 people, decision makers in DC. So many people have gone viral across the internet, according to this article. Many noted that the 81-year-old standing still next to a woman in a green outfit came towards him gently and touched his right hand. They state that the lady in green had a needle thing in her hand when she moved towards Mitch McConnell. Some people believe that Mitch is being controlled. This is an interesting theory. If we're talking about humans and what humans are capable of in one particular human, right? Interestingly enough, I'm wearing green today. How can they influence somebody? We've talked about remote influencing. You could remote influence somebody from distance. They tested that during the remote viewing projects to see if they could remote influence Saddam Hussein. So could they remote influence somebody? Yeah, they wouldn't even have to be in the room. Would she have to touch somebody? No. But if she did touch him with a needle thing, something needly, then it could have had something in there, and it would have immediately had an impact on him. You think about how quickly drugs such as fentanyl have an impact on somebody. You watch these police cams where immediately if a police officer comes in contact with a dose of fentanyl, they immediately start can't breathing, not being able to breathe, and having to call for backup and almost dying. I've seen a couple of those videos. So could she have poked him? Yes. One TikToker also accused John Barrasso of pressing McConnell's hand after the lady in green supposedly poked McConnell with a needle. Conspiracy theorists also claimed that certain people who stood with McConnell looked curious and stared at him, hoping that the needle prick worked. Now, if you watch that video from July, there's a lot of people who look at him and they're like, trying to see what's going on. They're smiling. And this lady clearly tapped him. I've watched it plenty of times. She clearly tapped him. I just don't know who she is. I'd like to find out. I'm sure somebody knows. The identity of the lady wearing the green outfit in question remains unknown at the time of the writing of this article. Internet users have just, they continue to have a field day with this, obviously, and we are too. But the question is, is she a bot? Is she an alien? Is she AI? Is she part of the government? Is she an aide? And if we look at the wider scope of things, let's say he had a health crisis. Well, some health experts believe that he had a mini stroke. Okay, fine. But he came right back 30 seconds later. He said he was fine. Then it happens again later. It could be a TIA. It could be a transient ischemic attack, which are kind of like mini strokes. But Jesus, wouldn't they have taken him to the hospital right away? They didn't even do that. So they state that even, as you recover from a concussion, which he had back in March, that you can feel lightheaded, that you can have these dizzy spells. But, why did it happen right after he was touched by somebody? That's the conspiracy theory. That's what we're kind of getting at. So what is the deal with this woman? So we have one theory, right? That people believe that he was touched by this woman. We also have the belief that maybe he's been bombarded with some sort of directed energy weapon. He could be the victim of some directed energy weapon. Yeah, he's 81 years old. Yeah, 81-year-olds, they kind of lose it from time to time. But, for him to freeze like this twice now, and they've they checked him out after this July event, and they said he's fine. There's nothing popping up. They did MRIs, CT scans. There's no lesions on the brain that would have caused this. This is just kind of like recovery stuff. We're talking about, we're in August now. We're in September tomorrow. So, how long is this recovery taking? We have an attack that's happened to U.S. diplomats in Cuba. Okay, remember that, right? Remember when the U.S. diplomats were attacked in Cuba? This happened where they were bombarded with some sort of auditory brain damaging device. It was like a directed energy weapon. So I pulled it up. This happened in Havana when we had the State Department down there and embassy workers who were down there, and a colleague of one of these doctors actually stated that they examined these people, all these diplomats that were down in Cuba. And what they found was it appeared that there was brain damage to these individuals, but nobody could figure out why. So what the Havana syndrome was it started with a sound, a large, high-pitched, piercing sound. Then came the symptoms: hearing loss, dizziness, tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear, balance problems, fatigue, trouble concentrating, amongst others. Diplomats started to connect the link to Cuba, basically blaming Cuba. All of the Cuban government was like, we didn't do anything, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. It'd be pretty stupid for Cuba to initiate this. It'd be like suicide, right? But there was a Dr. Hoffer that was called, and the State Department called him and said, we have a problem. Hoffer was a neurologist, and he checked all these folks out. They flew him down to Cuba, and they basically set up a clinic in there. He evaluated 140 individuals. Of these people, 25 had symptoms and appeared to have heard a strange sound or felt a pressure wave. Now, this is interesting because it's different than Mitch, but you got to think in the larger scheme of things. Is this alien? Is this human? Is this another country? Easily could be another country. Another country could send a frequency out. We already know that Russia has been sending frequencies since the 1980s in these pulse forms, in these pulse timings. And these frequencies have an effect on our nervous system. And there's no way for the government to stop it, because they could just move these pulse sounds around their country as soon as they're found out. Or they can just make another device. So we have the potential for this to be these guys, or it could be Putin and his comrades. We really don't know. But what's interesting about the Havana syndrome is people continued to have issues after they came back home. They had vestibular issues, which is balance problems. They believed it was a sonic attack. They actually got a recording of what they thought it was. Now, this might be disinformation, because this recording information came out and they analyzed it, and somebody at California, Berkeley, said it was the male Indies short-tailed cricket. And they stated that you could hear this through driving a semi on the interstate with your windows closed, and you could still hear these crickets. So these things are ear-piercingly loud. They state that that sound sounded similar to what these crickets are. Do I believe that's what it was? No. Okay? I don't care how loud the pitch is. I get it. I got crickets outside. Or, not crickets. I got, cicadas, right? They're insanely loud. I just want to freaking, bombard them with a sound blast, Get one of those, like, those airwave kids things that where you pull the thing and it shoots like an air vibration out, and you can feel it like 30 feet away. It's pretty neat. But anyway, so what do we have here? We really don't know, but we do know it's affecting our high-level officials. If Mitch isn't being directly targeted by an energy weapon or aliens or something like that, he may be having a health issue. But we do know that these our State Department and our high-level officials were attacked in Cuba. So, and that's not the first time. There's been many others. So the question is, what the hell happened? Is he okay? Is our government okay? is there a conspiracy with this lady in the green shirt and these other officials that surrounded him? And they didn't just escort him out. They should have escorted him out if they really cared about him. I think that's a big fail on their side. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't know what else you could say other than it's odd that it's happened a second time, and it just happened. And how many more times are they going to let it happen? And there's got to be. Don't you believe that there's got to be censors around some of these high-level officials? Like, don't they have, protection? CIA level protection, DARPA level protection, DOD level protection, military type protection that can sense any type of auditory bombardment that's coming in, any type of potential hazard, a frequency, something that can affect the human body. Don't you think that would be something that would be interesting? That'd be something we'd want to know about. Hopefully they do have that. And hopefully we're looking into that because we need it, quite honestly. We've needed it since the 80s. So something to look at, something to do some research on, something to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tidbit of a podcast. I'm going to bring another one. I appreciate you guys listening. We are bringing back some podcasts that you may have not heard that were in draft folders. We're bringing those back as well as some brand new videos. So we're going to be popping those out as well. Please listen, like, follow, share, subscribe. Share with your friends. That's going to help us more than anything. Give us a rating. I don't care if it's good or bad. Whatever. You want to say Lockdown Universe sucks? Go ahead. I don't care. Just give us a rating. It'll help us move up. It'll help us grow. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to get this information out because this is stuff that I've been passionate about for so long, for decades. And my father's going to pass away soon, and he's not going to be able to see full disclosure. And I think the more that I can push this out and you can push this out, the better off humanity will be. The rest of us will die off eventually, and this information will carry on to our children. And we need it to carry on to our children because they need to be aware of what's going on. So anyway, guys, hopefully you're taking care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally, following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, guys, take care, and Lockdown Universe out. Go like, follow, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.